Hello and welcome, dear viewers of this channel, and thank you for tuning in. Right off the start, this is going to be a very different video to what I'm used to doing. And what I want to do with this video here is I want to share some of my story. So this is personal and it's deep, so if you are looking for the latest news or some updates on the situation, or if you think that I'm mad and crazy for sharing my personal issues and emotions, then you're feel free and open to switch this video off and don't waste your time. However, as I've often mentioned and often shown also, vulnerability is a very intimate human is of a very intimate human nature, and I think we would do good in sharing our intimacy more with each other. However, as you may well know, that is also very difficult because who can you really trust outside there in the world? So what I want to get into is sharing my story with you. So, as you've probably noticed over the past few weeks, I have been mentioning it a few times that what's part of my story that I want to share here today is that I've been suffering from Wetiko disease that manifests as depression. I've been suffering from depression since I was 17 years old. I'm 31 now, and having thought I have overcome depression, the last 2 years, unfortunately, it has come back again. And this manifests in having no real joy in life anymore. And the only thing that I focus on is my work. I've got one, I've got two, I've got many of these where I collect all of the data that I need to sort myself out, to find out who I truly am, why I am here, and how I can make this world a better place. And this latest episode of my depression, where I don't see anyone, I don't meet anyone, I switch off my phone the whole day. People can't contact me unless they write emails. And yeah, that's also the reason why no one phones up anymore. So I'm totally isolated from my social environment. And the latest trigger, and I also want to share with a few slides also some deeper insights. The latest trigger of my depression was when when the whole group split. The group that we had, the Gnostic takeover that I founded together with Errol. that whole group of me, Errol, and Ahmed, and other people that you've also seen in the videos, that collapsed in on itself at the end of May. And I don't want to blame anyone with what has happened. However, I have to say it was very intense and very brutal. A brutal split and a lot of name calling. So we met up in a Zoom call, a very good place to have intimate, personal conversation. And there was a problem inside the group, and the main problem that the entire group saw was me. I was the big problem. And instead of explaining to me exactly what the issue is and talk in ways like friends would talk with each other, they opted to tell me I was schizophrenic, I am a narcissist, I suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, and this and that. And it's just not on. It's not how you talk with friends. And that was really hurtful, because until this point, I had a lot of trust in Ahmed in London, although I've never seen him personally, but we had some very good conversations, similar fields of interest. And also Errol, who I got to know personally here in Austria. And very quickly I also did a whole show with Errol on Age of Truth, and we got to know each other better. And we did many things together. For them to then turn around, and obviously they also have their story, and I want to point out again that I'm not blaming them. This all serves eventually our own learning. So the victim blame game is a trap. And it's always important to re-emphasize that and to remember that we're not victims of anything. And I don't blame Errol, I don't blame Ahmed or anyone else. I'm just focusing on what has happened. So that whole group broke apart, and I was once again on my own, which served a good purpose, because the months before that, as you can also see in the videos from months ago, we were always in one place together. We were always with each other. I didn't have any contact with any other people, not too much contact with other people outside of that group. It's a toxic group dynamic, and I'll be getting into that also later with the slides. And I placed a lot of trust in Errol and Ahmed, and after we had the Zoom conversation, okay, things can get out of hand, people can maybe overreact. I can understand that. However, after that one Zoom call that we had together, I never got the chance to talk with them again anymore. And after a while of basically cutting me out of the group, leaving me all on my own, telling me I was a narcissist and all that, I didn't feel like talking with them anymore. And that was very strange. So I've been actually didn't want to make this video, and I don't want to moan. Not interested in that. However, this has really hurt me deeply, and it has sort of triggered something that I've been going throughout my entire life. You felt it your entire life, as it goes in the Matrix. And that is that I don't belong anywhere. That where I feel all alone, and I can't really trust anyone. So, going deeper into my story, my whole depression started when I was 17, and that was the trigger of that was actually having to deal with the police for a nothing situation. So at the time when I was 17, I was still smoking weed. I don't do it anymore. I was smoking weed, and the police showed up at my door, basically to keep a long story short, and all they found was 2 glass pipes, which is absolutely legal to have here in Austria. And they treated me like a complete criminal. I was 17. I didn't have any clue about law, how to act lawfully, and not knowing that it's absolutely it's assault. It's they're not allowed to do what they did to me. So they took me to the police station. They took my fingerprints and treated me like I was the worst criminal. They would tell me in the police car that I can expect massive fines for this, and yeah, that's what really influenced me. And that carried on into the next school year that started 2 weeks after that incident. And that was my last year at school, where people were asking me, "What's going on with you? What's going on with Steve? He's normally a jolly guy, very happy, very energetic, nice guy. Why is he so silent? His behavior is very different to how he used to behave." And yeah, every day going to school was a nightmare for me. I would only look forward to going to sleep every day, just have my peace from that. I didn't enjoy living anymore, and all I would just do is focus on work, school at the time. So what I did was I started doing yoga, and I was going running and was doing these practices every day, and this is what got me out of my rut. And I finished the school year in a good way. So I did my A-levels, finished my A-levels. However, this depression and those sequences with depression continued every year. And I talk about this because I just had a chat with my mother also, and it made me aware that at least for 6 months every year I wasn't able to meet anyone. I wasn't able to engage in social interactions at all, although I'm very sociable. When I feel good, I'm very, very sociable. I love being with my human family. However, it's this paradox that has been a common theme throughout my life, where I shut myself away completely from society. And then I would be totally engaged with society. It's always been a back and forth, back and forth. So we're talking when I was 17, that's 2007, where my depression started. Feeling low on energy, no joy in life, and always this background noise that something's wrong with you. This would happen with the police, like, what did I do wrong? There's something wrong with me, and that triggered a feeling. That's why I do this video, because I become more aware of what the situation says on a deeper level. Is it the situation with the police that I had in 2007 when I was 17 triggered a feeling that I had inside, that I had throughout my entire life before, which is, I have no meaning. I don't really belong here. I don't fit in anywhere. What's life all? What's it here for? Why am I here? If I don't have any joy in life. And there's a lot of people feeling like this. That's why I'm sharing this video and sharing you my story, because you know what? I don't care anymore what they say. I don't care if I just want to get clean completely, and I even stopped drinking alcohol for the last month now. And I stopped drinking coffee also, to just let these trapped emotions and traumas come up, to purify, because I'm done with the bullshitting myself and bullshitting others. And yeah, that's where I was. It triggered something deep in me, that I'm wrong, and I'm wrong here. And as I say, it's 2007, and in 2017, so we're talking 10 or 11 years after that, still being in this, in these cycles of depression, feeling like I'm the biggest idiot going, because everyone else gets on fine, everyone else is good, it's just me that has to suffer through this always. And in 2017, because it was also torture for me always to go to university, because again I didn't belong there. I couldn't express myself properly. And if I would express myself, you get thrown into the conspiracy theory genre and not taken serious. And although at times you're in the mode like, it doesn't matter what other people think about me, I'm doing my thing, and you're strong, so you're not always strong. You're not always strong like that. And it does hurt, and it is sad. However, coming back to the story, in 2017, after I heard for the first time what these criminals running this world were trying to implement 5G, the bandwidth and the medium for digital dystopia. And when I found out how harmful these frequencies were, the electromagnetic radiation that we were being bombarded with, ever since 1G got released, right at the time when I was born. 1T, 2G, 1992. And looking at 5G can actually, in the words of Lena Poo, a woman that I also got to know, she calls it 297G from the level of impact that this has in comparison to previous generations. So I heard of where the world was going, and I decided to quit my studies, mathematics and history, at the University of Vienna, to become a teacher, because I want to be teaching. I am a teacher. I am a student. I love learning. That's why I do all of this. This all has its merit. I love doing my work. Also for nothing, that's why I have to live with my parents now, because I don't earn anything of this. I'm too stupid to earn any money from this. So you see that with the donations. When you go on my website, there's nothing on there. I don't even know how to run this website. You know why? Because I can't be bothered. Because it's not me. It's not me running a website. I tried it a few times and I didn't get to it. And so in 2017, and that really was the most difficult time of my life, including 2018-19. Most difficult times of my life, because I just dropped my studies. I couldn't even tell my mother for half a year. I didn't tell her because I felt ashamed of myself. However, I had to do that to make a difference in the world. That was my aim. And I started doing deeper work in journalism. By April 2019, I coming out of another deep episode of depression, as deep as I've ever been. I really thought I was gonna die then. I started giving lectures on 5G and digital totalitarianism, and I was traveling throughout the whole of Austria, and that's what really changed the dynamic of my life. Finally, being 29 years old, finally I was doing something that I was really good at. And I was a talented speaker, so I was told. Talented in the way I present information, and that was the first time that I realized that I could actually do something. That I wasn't. That maybe these thoughts that are torturing me inside, that I can't do anything, that I'm worthless, that maybe there's another side to that. Maybe I'm not useless. And this is what I would always get. So that's the work that I love doing. And then what happens? Right in the middle of doing it for nearly a year, suddenly we get the first shutdown in March 2020. So nearly a whole year after starting, finally doing something that I love doing. The whole place gets shut down, the whole world gets shut down. And exactly that which I've been warning about comes into place. So then, what I then felt after the first lockdown, I was also in a similar state to now. Again, questioning myself. Why am I even here? What am I doing here? The same old, just like, I'm basically worthless. Can't do anything. And then in May, beginning of May 2020, I started public speaking. Out of the blue, coincidentally. And we did that every single week. Or most weeks I went there. Doing public speaking. Talking about the whole agenda. You know, like I am. No, I don't have an agenda. Except freedom. I just want to be free. And that has also now ended, the public speaking. Ended at the beginning of May. And we've been under attack ever since. With all these fines. These ludicrous fines. And yeah, public speaking ended at the beginning of May, and the end of May, the whole group I was a part of, I split off from that, and that again has triggered that feeling that I'm the problem. As all of the group said, I'm the problem. I'm the narcissist. I'm psychologically ill. That's how you talk to a friend, don't you? And that triggered in me again that I don't belong anywhere. I thought I'd belong into that group, but it looks like I don't. And what it basically comes down to is, after reflecting, because I want to be honest with myself, after reflecting, I'm not a narcissist. I'm not psychologically ill. And I'm none of the things that they threw at me. Because I know that the group is always wrong. Any collective is always wrong in this world. And so it proved there also. However, this served as a learning lesson. And the learning lesson is to just share openly what has happened, how you feel. And that's what I do with this video here. Share that with you. And on top of that, not only did that with the group really hurt me, but also being hit with all these fines. I went to court, they didn't let me in, all this injustice happening. And yeah, that brought me off course. Also from my work, because we were in a very good momentum. We had very good momentum here in Austria, and again that momentum was blocked very insidiously. So now I'm trying to get my momentum going again. That's one of the very hidden dynamics in life, is the principle of momentum. You do small steps at a time. Okay, small steps. And then you can start doing big steps, and then the snowball gets rolling for your for you, and for your goals, and for your joys in life that you wish to experience. Like me, for example, I'd love to just travel the world and just travel. What's the actual reality? I don't travel at all. I'm just stuck here with my parents, learning, choosing the path of the inner warrior, the peaceful warrior, and being a real man, which means to be vulnerable also, and share that. Because a real man has the masculine and the feminine balanced, and not like we were taught. You have to stay strong, always stay strong to the outside. Fuck that shit. Fuck that. Bullshit. It's all bullshit. It's all play acting. Like these play actors, like the politicians. I know people that, to the outside, they present themselves as very strong, having everything under control. They even believe they are the king of the world. But inside they're as brittle as anything. But you can't show any vulnerability, can you? And therefore these people also don't have any empathy. Because they've long buried their inner child. And that's very sad. That's one of the main issues that we have in the world. So what really helps is to just share this story out there. And I also want to get into some slides now. Just putting this out there. People can make of it what they want. I really am in a point. We're in worldwide genocide right now. They're coercing all the people to fake be themselves. Jab it in like it's the most important thing ever. You fucking crazies. It's a fucking insane world. So I'll better show my vulnerability, which then also, oh look, he's insane, he's psychologically ill. Fuck you! It only triggers your own insecurity, your own vulnerability. If you're not damaged in any way, you've not been paying attention to what goes on in this world. That then you're a psychopath. Everything's great for you in this world, yeah. Well, that's got nothing to do with being a real and true and authentic human being. So I'm using this as an opportunity to share some bit of my story, which I've just done. I'm outing myself that yes, I've been suffering from depression for quite some time. And I'm ready to let it go because it's Wetiko disease. Have I got the book here? No. Somewhere else. I've got Wetiko disease, which is a mind virus. And I share that and bring that out into the open. I shine the light on that so that it disappears. I'm ready to integrate that energy and love myself with my light side and my dark side. Good. Let's do that. And I want to share a few slides also at the end here to give a little bit more perspective of basically what I talked about, my own story, sharing that with you, and also going into what helps me. Maybe you're still listening to this, possibly. I don't care who listens to it. I don't care how many people watch it. I really don't care at this point anymore. All I want is to anchor my greater being within the vessel of my body and see through this entire situation and bring those criminals down and change the world. That's what I want to do. And that's why I share openly what I have to say. And what I also want to mention here is the biggest problem that we have in the world, and the reason why most people are getting the V is because they've long abandoned their inner child. To say, I'm important, I came here to do something, I came here to succeed with my project that I came here to do as a soul on this planet that's run by a bunch of criminals that I'm here to take down and create the new world. That inner child that knows there's a soul journey to be made, and there's a soul plan, and there's our destiny to fulfill, and rejoice in the experience of on life on Earth, and to take back this planet and actually build something new, build something humane, something where we are connected with each other. Because of that abandonment of the inner child and succumbing to the groupthink and just believing blindly that, oh yeah, it must be safe because government said so and the media said so. They're paying a massive price for abandoning the inner child. I'll just follow along because they look for security outside of themselves. They stay in the fear, and being paralyzed in that fear, they look for outside guidance. And they don't activate the inner guiding system. They don't activate the inner compass that comes with acknowledging the inner child. We are always this child. That inner child is also what I call, or what I learned from George Cavasilas, is the heart soul essence. That is our essence. And they then make a choice with the consequences that they have to live with for the rest of their life. So what I was doing with this video here is dive deep into the deep waters, the waters of emotions. And I bet I'm not happy with this video. I've already had the thoughts in the back of my mind. Why are you doing this? This is crazy. You're ridiculous. Yeah, dive into the deep waters. Nothing to hide. Friends and family of the human family, just want to share with you, I have absolutely nothing to hide from you. The only thing I hide is the disdain, the anger I have for Errol and Ahmed. Okay, but that's my own issue. That's why I don't share it out into the world, because they have their own learning lesson to learn, and it's not up to me to change them. This is the exact problem that they had. They wanted to change me. Well, fuck you. No one is allowed to change anyone. That's exactly the problem we have in the world situation. Trying to change people's opinion and coerce them into taking a medical experiment treatment, a medical experimental treatment. So we also should not do that. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to change anyone. I want to learn how I can become whole and live from my anchor point of my heart, soul, essence. The idiot conspiracy theorist in the room. Ha 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 ha. Do you know that? Have you ever experienced something like that? Huh? Yeah, you might have done. You might have done. And that's why it really is a profoundly sick society that we've been born into and that we are still a part of right now. Very damaged individuals who have long ago already abandoned the inner child. And they don't know what they're doing. They're acting out unconsciously because they themselves are incredibly insecure. And they have to portray to the outside how everything's fine, everything's great, yeah, got my new t-shirt, got my friends, got the group dynamics that always shows me that I'm loved because I have to compensate. The self-love that is lacking. That's why we have to break out of the groupthink. Because looking for security in the group, you're looking for that security in any group, or security of government. You're looking for that security because of a lack of self-love. It's that simple. So I need security that others in the group love me, and then, oh, I think they love me, so yeah, I must be okay. When real love comes, real love for ourselves comes, when we love ourselves also with our shadow aspects, and heal the abandonment of the inner child and carry it and love it for who it is, like we would love any child. Walk like 3,000 ancestors are behind you. That's really beautiful. We've been going through Wetiko disease for such a long time. Throughout human history, all the ancestors that came before us, all the suffering they've been through. That's why I'm very happy to do this video. And you really, it's no comparison to what they also had to suffer. The world wars, all the genocides that have already happened throughout history. And now we're at that point again. And maybe we learn the lesson and we break the spell of Wetiko. Poison and medicine. Wetiko is difficult to explain in the logic that we've been taught to think. That's what's explained in the book Dispelling Wetiko, is that our logic is not enough. The yes and no logic. Is it this or is it that? Yes or no, it doesn't encompass the phenomenon of Wetiko, because it's poison and medicine. As I explained before, it's the biggest threat to life on the planet. It's a mindset. It's trauma-based mind control. It's a mind virus. It's Wetiko. And it is poison, that which can eventually lead to self-suicide of all of humanity, or it can be the medicine that liberates us if we make the choice to truly awaken, truly awaken. And awakening is a destructive process, very destructive process, as you can see how I share my own experiences. And there's a difference between waking up from the dream and being happy in the dream. Do you want to wake up, or do you just want to be happy in your dream? And I want to mention Bernhard Günther, who I got this from. Great work that he's also doing. I'll put it underneath in the description below so you can find his work on soul integration and the matrix control system and deep shadow work, which I'm doing right now as I'm sharing this with you. So Wetiko goes beyond our logic to comprehend it. However, we're getting more to the bottom of what it is by realizing the mindset that it puts us under. That's why it will continue to be a theme in my coming videos. Also, a very profound quote by Carl Gustav Jung is relating to shadow work, that no tree, it is said, can grow to heaven unless its roots reach down to hell. And that has to do with the world of emotions, diving deep into the deep waters, diving as deep as we can, and that can be scary. However, within Wetiko, when we go down to hell, represented by the figure of Satan, or as we say, Wetiko, within Wetiko lies a revelation that will change your life. It is poison and medicine, and through the wound that we carry, through our own wounds, will we recognize the path for our life. Through the wound and the healing of the wound, will we know our destiny, what our destiny on this planet is. So that means having the high perspective from above and being deeply rooted and grounded and earthed, and you're grounded through integrating the shadow. And this was me forcefully, I have to say, at the end of May, as I explained to you, breaking out of the group. Yeah. Individuation. It's also something that Carl Jung goes into, and something I'm very, very interested in. And Bernhard Günther is also covers this topic of individuation, and that is what makes you transcend the matrix. By not needing the security of the group, but saying, well, people belong in the group of government followers? Nah, I won't have that. I'm different. I want to be different. And I choose to become an individual. Breaking out of the collective spell, and this is what Wetiko is. Breaking out of the collective spell and becoming an individual. And this is what it means to grow your soul. So we are still, as a species now, we're starting to wake up more and more. to what's going on in the world. And it's like we are still in an embryo of our ego, growing out of that embryo and growing our soul to be anchored in our being and live from the level of our greater being. There's nothing more important than connect with our deepest level. And that's what all the pain and suffering we go through, even what I go through now, you don't have to be sad about me. I chose this. I chose to be in this situation. I myself am my worst enemy, unfortunately. However, when I do this video, when it can help someone else also, who can relate to what I'm going through, then what I'm going through already serves more of a purpose. That's why I'm sharing it. And that's why I'm also crying. Don't care. I care about true love, beauty, compassion, and empathy, true humanity, and being that true humanity again. That's what I care about. I don't care about other people's opinions. So, that process, jumping into the other bowl, is jumping into the unknown. And I'll get deeper into that in another video. So I want to end this video, this very emotional video, with a quote from Anita Moorjani, who wrote the great book Dying to Be Me, about her near-death experience, her near-death experience that she had. It's a beautiful book. And she said that when I was willing to let go of what I wanted, I received what was truly mine. I've realized that the latter is always the greater gift. And I think there's something very deep there. When we're too focused, and this is also what we learn from Wetiko, is what we can learn about Wetiko, this sort of paradoxical phenomenon that it is, the paradoxical phenomenon of Satan. And we are also, as human beings, we're paradoxical. What this Wetiko phenomenon teaches us also is to broaden our perspective. It all has to do with a shift of consciousness, changing our perception, and how we can change our perception. One of the prime things that I wish to go deeper into, also in the coming videos. And what I mean by that, what we learn about Wetiko, is that instead of focusing on who the abuser is, like I could be focusing on Errol and Ahmed, they are the abusers there. No, they're human beings too, on their own journey, with their own lessons, which I'm in no position to tell them what they need to learn. However, the thing I mean is, instead of being so focused on abusers in our life or people that have hurt us, try and broaden your perspective. And that's it's one of the key things that I learned from the book I'm reading right now, Dispelling Wetiko by Paul Levy, is that there's a mechanism in nature that protects the abuser. That's what we see all the time in the world. Politicians protected from prosecution, pharmaceutical companies protected from prosecution, for a reason. And I'll get deeper into that in another video. I'm going to end this video soon now. And what it wants is to let a deeper process happen. Instead of focusing on the abuser, letting go and healing that inside yourself, healing the abandonment of the inner child. That's what it really is about, because the abusers or the abuse that we suffered by other people are triggering the abandonment of the inner child. That's what we should really be focusing on. And to broaden our perspective away from that narrow focus into a wider focus. And to let that deep process happen. Diving into the deep waters that shows us a much deeper reality of what it really is all about. That's why I say, what is reality? We're still finding out. What is the awakening? We're still finding out. Am I awake? We're still finding out and going deeper. So this is what Wetiko teaches. Instead of focusing on an entity, on a being the abuser, let the deeper process unfold and let life tell you through life experience what it is really all about. We're not here to figure it all out in our minds. That's an important thing I need to remember. But to experience it in life and let it happen. So, and also, not only what are the focus that I wanted to get to from this quote from Anita Moorjani, but also the letting go. Letting go and heal that distorted energetic relationship with a so-called abuser and realize, like Wetiko in our world, it's actually the poison and the medicine at the same time. And we can forgive those individuals because they only triggered something, a wound that goes back much further into our childhood. And that healing is important to take place now. Alright, long video. I hope you get something from it. I'll just release it like that. Don't care. I'm real. I'm in this for real. And I'll continue to do my work because you know what? This is what helps me. True authenticity. Being a human being, just being yourself and sharing yourself, even with your vulnerable points, especially your vulnerability, brings you further and brings us closer together. So you see, I have no agenda. I don't care. I just want to change the world and heal myself. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned. I love all of you. Love the human spirit because I see it inside of me. And we're gonna make that difference in the world. Much love. Take care. Bye bye.